2.9% during the week under review from 3.4% the previous week. Prevention measures being implemented, such as vaccination, continue to contribute to the reduction in the severe impact of this virus. Areas that recorded the most significant numbers of new cases include Harare, with a figure of 8,363, Mashonaland East, 3,546, Mashonaland West, 2,992, and Bulawayo, 2,670. The total number of new confirmed COVID-19 cases reported through the school surveillance system increased to 1,526 compared to 1,086 the previous week. There were no deaths reported. The cumulative total number of confirmed cases now stands at 5,711, with 4,893 learners and 818 staff members spreading across 582 schools. Regarding the national vaccination program, Cabinet wishes to inform the public that as at 13 December that's yesterday, a total of 3,956,020 first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine had been administered, while 2,967,972 people had received their second dose. Pertaining to the update on procurement of COVID-19 vaccine, a total of 2.5 million Sinopharm doses were received from China during the week. The Ministry of Health and Child Care continues to work closely with the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development to track vaccine stocks to ensure that the country does not run out of vaccines. The government is proud to announce that there are adequate stocks of vaccines for the benefit of all Zimbabweans. The Indian Embassy, fulfillment of their pledge to deliver a donation of 40,000 doses of Covaxin, they've confirmed that the scheduled flight will be arriving in the country on 16 December 2021. The government of Zimbabwe would like to appreciate this gesture by the government of India. And in view of the marked increase in the recorded number of daily new cases, the public is advised that the following measures have been agreed to. 1, all government departments will stop face-to-face meetings. All remaining end-of-year planning and other such critical meetings shall be held virtually. 2, communities at all levels are urged to remain vigilant and to continue adhering to COVID-19 prevention measures. Then 3, enforcement of all COVID-19 regulations at all levels will be strengthened. Then 4, COVID-19 lockdown measures have been extended by another 2 weeks. A statement will be released soon. Then we'll move on to the proposed modules and implementation matrix for the National Health and Service Training. Cabinet considered and approved the proposed modules and implementation matrix for the National Health and Service Training and Induction Program under the Public Service Academy, as presented by the Minister of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare, Honorable Professor Paul Mavima. The Public Service Academy has so far developed 10 priority modules and programs that are currently being rolled out to the members of the public service. The syllabi for the priority modules have been designed to align with national imperatives that will ensure the workforce is equipped with the necessary skills, competencies, attitude, work ethics, culture, and practical orientation to improve performance in the public service. Furthermore, in order to inculcate the spirit of patriotism, national ideology, and national heritage ethos, the Public Service Academy has partnered with relevant stakeholders, which has given value and traction to the programs on offer. Regarding specialized health sector modules, the following have been developed. 1, public health service orientation, the health sector legal framework. 3, management skills development. 4, conflict management. 5, gender, diversity, and sexual harassment. And then 6, asset inventory and 7, procurement and contract management. Then Cabinet received a report on the drug and substance abuse. Cabinet received and considered a report on the drug and substance abuse among children, youth, and the general population, and this was presented by the Minister of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare, Honourable Professor Paul Mavima, as Chair of the Interministerial Task Force on this drug abuse. The task force efforts are targeted at reducing harm and demand, while increasing treatment and rehabilitation and engendering community and social reintegration. The nation is informed that a total of 575 accused persons were arrested, of which 192 were suppliers and 383 were end users. Additionally, through effective surveillance, law enforcement agents managed to seize and recover drugs and substances to the tune of 28 million Zimbabwe dollars. A total of 16 anti-drug and substance abuse campaigns were conducted at various platforms, including the media. Regarding treatment and rehabilitation, a total of 359 patients were hospitalized between January 2021 to 31st October 2021. Then pertaining to community and social reintegration, the Ministry of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare is working with stakeholders who are implementing parenting programs. The Parenting Programs Club strategy aims to create ease in reintegration once a survivor has been discharged from treatment. Resuscitation of family clubs serve as preventive mechanisms as they instill positive parenting through community structures. The Ministry, through the Department of Social Development, utilizes the National Case Management System in the identification, referral, and case management of survivors of drug and substance abuse. Through government interventions, 97 female and 175 male drug and substance abuse survivors were assisted since January 2021 to date. Then Cabinet received an update on projects under the US $12 billion Mining Industry by 2023 program. Cabinet received an update from the Minister of Mines and Mining Development, Honourable Chitando, on sundry initiatives to achieve the US $12 billion mining industry by 2023, and this is as follows. 1, Kamativi tin mines. The Minister of Mines and Mining Development briefed Cabinet on the current state of the tailings dump and reopening of underground operations at Kamativi tin mines. Cabinet noted the need to ensure that these two projects get into production as soon as possible so that they contribute to the $12 billion mining industry milestone. The Minister of Mines and Mining Development was tasked to follow up on these issues accordingly. Then 2, Total Bokai Platinum Project. Cabinet also considered the need to get the Total Bokai Platinum Project next to Unge Mine so that it gets into production as soon as possible so that it contributes to the US $12 billion mining industry milestone. The Minister of Mines and Mining Development was also tasked to follow up on the issue accordingly. Then on Project 3, Mining Concession for Youth and War Veterans. The Minister of Mines and Mining Development updated Cabinet on the progress and initiatives to allocate mining claims to youth and war veterans in line with government policy. Then the 4th project, development of the ferrochrome sector. The Minister of Mines and Mining Development updated Cabinet on the ferrochrome sector since the ban on the export of raw chrome ore. Cabinet resolved to continue with the ban and at the same time to support all those ferrochrome producers who are expanding capacity. It was noted that the ban on the export of chrome ores resulted on the increase in projects to increase ferrochrome production. Then Cabinet received a report on the ICT interventions on government digitalization program. The Minister of Information, Communication Technology, Postal and Courier Services, Honorable Jenfan Muswere, updated Cabinet on the ICT-based interventions which government through the Postal and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, that's POTRAS, is implementing to attain the digital economy as enunciated in the NDS 1 2021 to 2025, and also to mitigate challenges which are posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Cabinet noted the initiatives relating to digitization of the judiciary, police services, prisons and correctional services, which will ensure security of information, dockets, law and order, as well as efficient delivery of justice services. In summary, the interventions include the following. 1, provision of gadgets and connectivity to rural police stations as part of the implementation of the Ministry of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage Integrated Management System. Focus will be on smart policing, which involves the movement of dockets from the police to the court systems, and finally, the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Services, ZPCS. In addition, the stations will have their bandwidth subscription for 12 months or paid in full. The initial will also see the ZRP, local authorities, and other security services being connected to the smart transport and traffic management system. This will enable easy identification and follow-up of traffic offenders and their sanctioning. The pilot study has already been completed. Then 2, under the digitization of the judiciary, judicial officers are being trained in preparation for the launch of the integrated electronic case management system, which is set for next year. This system will bring together the prisons, community corrections, court services, and other related agencies to more efficiently provide justice through digital means. In addition, government, in partnership with the Judicial Services Commission, JSC, is in the process of establishing virtual courts. The project will result in the installation and use of a video conferencing system at all court complexes and prisons. Then 3, provision of desktop computers and accessories to the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Services, ZPCS, and also to the Judicial Services Commission. Then 4, the National Prosecution Authority, the Attorney General's Office, and the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, ZAC, are also being digitized. Cabinet wishes to invite the public to note the digitization of systems is targeted at eliminating corruption at the institutions through reduction of human interface, as well as advancing the country's ease of doing business program. All costs will be borne by government in line with this government's digitization program. Cabinet is pleased to announce that His Excellency the President today launched the e-passport. Then Cabinet received a report on pre-planting producer prices for strategic food crops. Cabinet deliberated on the pre-planting producer prices for maize, traditional grains, soya beans, sunflower, and cotton for the 2021-2022 agricultural production season. And this was presented by the Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Honorable Dr. Anxious Masuka, as the Deputy Chairperson of the Cabinet Committee on Food Security and Nutrition. Over and above the usual food crops, whose prices are announced by government, namely maize, traditional grains, and soya beans, Cabinet has taken the strategic decision to include sunflower and cotton as major oilseed crops, and has accordingly approved pre-planting producer prices for these crops. The pre-planting prices of the sunflower and cotton seeds are meant to promote production of the crops by providing sufficient incentives for farmers to grow these crops. Then Cabinet received a report on the 12th session of the Zimbabwe-Mozambique Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation. Cabinet received and noted the report on the 12th session of the Zimbabwe-Mozambique Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation held at Rainbow Towers Hotel in Harare. and this report was presented by the Minister of Defense and War Veterans Affairs as Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. The deliberations of the Joint Permanent Commission were conducted under the auspices of the Commission's sectoral committees, which are political and diplomacy, then 2, economic, 3, social, and 4, public security. Highlights of the outcomes of the Joint Permanent Commission discussions include the following. 1, under the Political and Diplomacy Committee, the Commission emphasized the importance of holding joint permanent commissions and midterm review sessions. This should be done regularly in order to monitor progress in implementing agreed decisions. The deployment of the SADC mission to assist Mozambique to quell the Cabo Delgado insurgents was welcomed. Then the exhibition of personal protective equipment, PPEs, which was held by the Zimbabwean tertiary institutions on the sidelines of the JPCC, was commended, with the Commission resolving to host business forums on the margins of future binational commissions in order to enhance trade and investment between the two countries. Then 2, under the Economic Sectoral Committee. On trade issues, the Commission's deliberations paid special attention to bilateral trade in cereals and chrysotile asbestos. The increasing trade between the two member states was applauded, with plans put on solid ground to upgrade the Nyamapanda, Chuchamano, and Forbes Machipanda border posts. Discussions were also held covering the energy sector and transport and infrastructure. The Commission called on the two countries to expedite the finalization of various agreements which were under negotiation. The agreements include the following. A, the draft agreement on the avoidance of double taxation. B, the bilateral investment and promotion and protection agreements. And C, the amended Limpopo Basin Agreement. Then, coming under the Social Committee, the Commission oversaw the signing of 2 memoranda of understanding under its purview, namely A, the MOU on information sharing and the development of joint ventures in the media sector. This was signed on behalf of Zimbabwe by the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Monica Mchango. And the B, the MOU on cooperation in the field of labor, which was signed on behalf of Zimbabwe by the Minister of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare, Honorable Professor Paul Mavema. Then C, Zimbabwe requested Mozambique for its cooperation in the repatriation of the remains of Zimbabweans who were wasted away by the floods that were caused by Cyclone Idai and buried in Mozambique. Zimbabwe expressed its readiness to send a delegation to Mozambique at the earliest convenience to assist in the process. In this regard, the Commission resolved that Zimbabwe would submit to Mozambique a draft MOU on disaster preparedness and mitigation, which incorporates mechanisms for dealing with post-disaster situations, including repatriation of remains. Finalization of MOUs under this sector will be expedited, including the following: the draft MOU on sport and recreation, draft MOU on cooperation in youth affairs, draft MOU on arts, culture and heritage, draft MOU on social development. And then there are new areas of cooperation that were introduced under the committee, and these are the following: gender affairs, cross-border trade and small and medium enterprises development, then low-cost climate smart housing development, and alternative building technologies. Under 4, under the Public Security Committee, the issues discussed centered on A, police cooperation in fighting cross-boundary organized crime. Then B, immigration authorities' efforts to formalize some illegal crossing points along the border. Then C, illegal farm workers, residents and scholars. Then D, irregular migration, especially from the Great Lakes region and the Horn of Africa. And E, the repatriation of Mozambican refugees at Tongogara refugee camp. In this case, the Commission urged the committee to expedite finalization of the following outstanding agreements and MOUs. the MOU on cooperation in legal issues, MOU on transfer of convicted prisoners, and the SADC protocol on extradition. The Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation meeting was held in a very cordial atmosphere, which reflected the fraternal bonds of friendship and cooperation between the two sister republics of Zimbabwe and Mozambique. And this is fortified by a common history and culture and shared aspirations. I thank you sincerely. That brings us to the end of our cabinet briefing.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister and the cabinet spokesperson, for as usual making such a presentation on what was deliberated in cabinet. Members of the media, I'm not going to say now we end here because today, as was the case last year, our chairperson, who is a hostess, she wants to host us again, and will be proposing a toast to the continued working together of government and the fourth state, we call it.
Yes.
That notwithstanding small little, variations in terms of how we conceive and do our business, at least we have some positive interface. So we'll be asking our colleagues to assist in the preparations for the toasting. Somebody who can direct the voice.
We want to drink something.
So that at least we are not having
And when,
more relaxed.
and when we drink, we remove our masks.
Operating within the demands of the protocols, which try to not undermine our environment, which is still COVID-ridden. So once we have everything organized, I think spread the whole
And because you're supposed to be drinking, so you're supposed to be removing your mask, so you really need social distance.
yeah,
2 meters.
Relax a bit.
Yeah.
Can we occupy?